Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for yet another live stream to discuss about the latest AC Milan news and rumors. Now, before I get started with today's live stream, as you can see, there's a new addition here to the wall. There's a new scarf. That is the Milan Club Montreal scarf. I just got it a few days ago. As you may know, I'm one of the administrators in this Milan fan club, and pretty much I want to announce that this Sunday we'll be holding the first viewing party for our fan club. And if you're in Montreal, it is a great opportunity to come meet us. We will be at Bar Chocharo. So if you want more information on the event in general, make sure to either communicate with me through Twitter, which is the best option, or follow at ACM Club MTL on Twitter. All the information regarding this event will be posted there. So if you guys want to join us on Sunday at noon for the match against Torino, make sure to contact us through there. Now, let's speak about today's news and also about yesterday, because there were some news that I wanted to share with you guys, or at least comment on them. First of all, I wanted to speak about Bacca because he finally declared that he's happy that he stayed at Milan despite the interest from other clubs throughout the summer. Of course, he was heavily linked to West Ham. People thought that he was finally going to leave, that a sale was going to fund Milan's transfer window this summer. But in the end, Bacca decided to stay. And most importantly, he said that he had never taken any decision in general concerning either leaving or staying at Milan. He said that, when he left Sevilla, he wanted to play in the Champions League. He wanted to bring Milan to the Champions League. And unfortunately for him and for Milan, in that first season, he just wasn't able to bring them to their ultimate goal, reaching the Champions League. But he said that he won't be leaving Milan until he succeeds in bringing them back to where they belong, that is, any European competition. So these are obviously comforting words from Carlos Bacca, because finally we can put an end to this fairy tale, I guess, to this saga that has been going on all summer long, saying that Bacca would leave to West Ham. I said it for a couple of weeks. I just didn't see him leaving to either an English club or a Spanish club. I think there was also interest from some French teams, if I'm not mistaken. But at the end of the day, there was also interest from some Italian clubs like Napoli. At the end of the day, he will remain a Milan player. And I have to say, I'm pretty happy about this because, once again, we weren't really after any other striker, and with so little time left in this summer transfer window, we simply weren't going to sign any striker worthy to replace him. So I'm happy that in the end he will remain at Milan, and he said that he's hoping that all the Milanisti will be after the team this year as they want to conquer a place in Europe. Now, let's speak about the Awara, because yesterday there were some initial contacts between Milan and Bologna concerning the defensive midfielder. Now, there have been contacts between Milan and the Awara yesterday, saying that they wanted to once again use this formula of the loan plus option to buy. But at the end of the day, Bologna pretty much rejected this offer. Milan were actually willing to pay Bologna 4 million euros for this loan with option to buy. But Bologna just said, no, we want straight money. And it seems that they have now an agreement with Napoli concerning the Awara, because Napoli is ready to pay 15 million euros straight off the bat to Bologna for the Awara. That is the agreement that the two teams have in general. Now, the thing that changed is that the Awara prefers Milan to Napoli. He doesn't want to join Napoli. So this could actually put a block in the negotiations between Bologna and Napoli concerning the player. So we're going to have to see what happens in the next few days to see if Milan could actually attempt something new for the Awara. Now, there's also been talks regarding Paredes, a player that we've also been linked to previously this summer. but it seems that Roma just don't want to give him away once again with this possibility of loan plus option to buy. If they want a player like Paredes, Milan's simply going to have to pay for it. And Roma don't want to give any discounts like Milan did for Esharawi. They said if they want Paredes, Milan has to pay for it. So once again, another deal for another player that has been rejected by another team simply for the fact that they're simply not interested in this loan plus option to buy. They want to see the money. They want to see it right in front of their eyes. So we'll see what happens with Paredes. At the moment, there's also been talks regarding Kovacic. New contacts were made today for Kovacic, actually. Once again, Galliani proposed that deal with the loan and option to buy. But even though there's a great relationship between Milan and Real Madrid, Madrid simply refused this offer once again. According to Sky, however, Milan could actually keep on trying to get Kovacic in these next few days. So we're going to have to keep our eyes open for this deal because it could become a possibility once again. Now, speaking about the Awara and Paredes, just to go back to them, these are two defensive midfielders that once again, I think Montella wants to find that perfect player that plays right in front of the defense. He wants to have that defensive midfielder. I'm pretty sure he's not really too optimistic regarding Montolivo, and this is a good sign that he wants to sign a player that could play a very big role in front of the defense. And Awara and Paredes could be very good options. I think they're both very good options if Milan could attempt to get one of these two. But once again, if the funds are not there, it's going to be very hard to see either one come to Milan this summer. Awara, so young, I believe he's 19. He definitely has a very bright future ahead of him. You could clearly see that by the interest that some of these teams in the Serie A or elsewhere in Europe have in him already. So he's definitely going to be very hard to get now that Napoli have found this agreement with Bologna for him for 15 million euros. But if the intentions of the player are to join Milan, if there's a free will from him, maybe this could actually block the negotiation. Now, before I get into your questions for the next 10 to 15 minutes, I wanted to speak about Rodrigo Caio because a lot of you guys have been asking about him, and you clearly are not really familiar with what's happening in the sole negotiations with Sao Paulo. So pretty much Milan are trying to block him. What that means is that he still doesn't have an European passport. And as you may know, with the signing of Jose Sosa a few days ago, our non-European spots have been finished. So we cannot sign any more non-European player. At the very moment, Rodrigo Caio is a non-European player. He has a Brazilian nationality. I do believe that he's also partially Italian, but he doesn't have an European passport. Therefore, at the very moment, he cannot arrive. Now, he's expected to get this European passport in about 15 days. However, as you may know, when you deal with paperwork and so forth, it might actually take longer than that. And that simply won't give Milan enough time to sign him in this summer transfer window. So essentially, what Milan is trying to do is block him. That means that he will automatically become a Milan player in January once January hits, and they could actually sign him in that transfer window so that no one else has a possibility of signing him. That is pretty much the scenario concerning Rodrigo Caio. If you guys want more clarifications, I will be glad to do so. Just let me know in the comment section below. Now, from what I heard for Rodrigo Caio, he's a very talented center back. I think he's doing very, very well in Brazil. He's 23 years old, strong player. I think he could do very well if he arrives at Milan. I said it a few times that Gustavo Gomez could be a very good complement to Romagnoli. However, I simply wouldn't have any certainty in him at the moment. But once again, this could be a very good deal. Whoever comes, either Gustavo Gomez remaining with Romagnoli, or if Rodrigo Caio comes in and plays with Romagnoli, then this could be very, very good for Milan. Now, apparently, his market value, according to Transfer Market, is 9 million euros. So not that expensive as you would expect. Sometimes these Brazilian clubs put these crazy FT price tags on their South American players. But, this is the valuation that Transfer Market is giving him at the moment. I'm simply not sure if that's going to remain like that, or if that is even what Sao Paulo is requesting. However, I think that if this deal could actually go through according to Sky, we're going to find out a lot more in the next few days. But I think he will be a very interesting option for Milan if he actually does arrive at the club. Now it's time to read your questions, and I'll be answering them for the next 10 minutes. So start giving me questions, guys. Once again, if I don't read them all, it's simply because I either read the question or there's just so many coming in that I don't have time to read them all. So starting off with Clayton, he says, Gio, do you see Sosa being a first-team player, or at least make our midfield better? I definitely think he can make our midfield better. I'm not quite sure if he's going to be starting this Sunday. I'm pretty sure that he's not. But in terms of being a first-team player, if he could bring that experience and he could do better than Montolivo, then I simply don't see a reason as to why he shouldn't be a first-team player. The real problem, of course, is that Montolivo is a captain, and, maybe under Berlusconi, Montella would have been fired already if Montolivo wasn't playing. But maybe under the Chinese, they have this other mentality that if a player is not doing well, the coach has every right to bench him. So we'll see what happens. But I think that Jose Sosa could definitely have a very big responsibility at Milan, like he mentioned in his interview. And I think that he could do very well. Tony says, is Markovic coming? I haven't heard anything from him. Supper says, do you think Mauri will get playing time this season? Jose Mauri, I think he could get playing time, but with the new additions coming in, I simply think that he's going to get very limited playing time, but I think it could be a very good option. I think Montella has seen what he's capable of, and he could definitely use him this season. Bonaventura will be a starter this year or not? Definitely. There's no doubt about it. Bonaventura will definitely get a starting position. Sorry, guys. Once again, so many questions coming in, so I'm trying to filter them here. Caleb says, do you see any youngsters potentially making a breakthrough this season other than Donnarumma? Yeah, there are a few options. Of course, Locatelli is one of them. I think that Locatelli could definitely, he's shown what he's capable of. I mean, it's not like he's really shown so many great things because he hasn't been getting so much playing time. But I believe that Locatelli, if he does get the opportunity, see, this is the thing now. There's actually midfielders coming in, such as Ozzy Sosa and so forth. So I'm not quite sure how much playing time these youngsters could actually get. But another player that I would definitely like to see, and I think could do very well, is Nicolo Zaniolato, of course, another midfielder. So I think Milan is pretty stacked in terms of midfielders. Maybe some of them won't be getting much playing time, but in terms of depth, I think that Milan has a lot of good youngsters that can make an impact at this team. Some more questions from you guys. Is Calabria going to play fullback, or is he going to play on the wing because we have too many fullbacks? My opinion on Calabria is that he will remain a fullback. I remember seeing someone stating a few days ago that Calabria should be converted as a midfielder, but I simply don't think that's going to happen. Calabria, once again, like other youngsters, could be not getting much playing time. You have to let everyone play. I understand that, but at the same time, I'm not quite sure how much playing time these youngsters could get. Like we have seen in the past few years, these youngsters are probably not ready to get a starting position or first team action right away. So most likely these players are going to either come in certain moments where the coach thinks that we are in a position in which we could risk playing them, or I simply think that maybe through trainings or if there's injuries, these guys could come in and actually give Milan a helping hand. Do I think that El Ghazi could be a decent signing? Yes, I've been talking about him a few days ago. El Ghazi could become a very important signing if we do sign him. But now the whole situation concerning him is whether seeing if Milan is still interested in him or not, because this was a player that was once a target for Berlusconi and so forth. Now with the new investors coming in, we simply don't know if El Ghazi is still a player that is of interest to them or not. So that is the real question at the moment. Why did we not renew Mexes and Alex's contract? Alex wanted to go back to Brazil, so he's playing in there. Mexes simply wasn't doing it. I remember a few years ago, maybe you guys weren't watching the channel at that moment, but Mexes was asking for an increase in salary at some point, and everyone was like, why? So simply, they weren't going to be renewing these players that are already in their mid-30s or close to their mid-30s. They weren't going to do anything of that sort. That is why Mexes and Alex left. Do I think the squad is competitive as of now? Competitive is always a word I laugh at because I always recall the time when Berlusconi and Galliani used to say the squad is ultra competitive or very competitive to compete on all fronts. And we all saw to what end that went, obviously, when we weren't even able to qualify for Europe. Of course, Galliani stating the usual bullshit in these past few years. I think we all know what I mean. But in terms of competitiveness, I think that we made some important signings. A lot of people don't know what these signings could potentially bring to the table yet. But, if you take a look at it, Lapadula, Gustavo Gomez, Jose Sosa, Vanjoni, these are players that have quality in them. They're talented. So I think they could integrate in the team well. Maybe they won't have all stellar seasons, but this could definitely make the team better altogether. Do I realistically think either one of Kovacic, Awara, or Paredes will arrive? Seems too good to be true with only loan plus option to buy. And that is exactly what I said because, I just don't see these teams accepting the loan plus option to buy because they want to see the money. They don't want to see these things of loan plus option to buy. Why would you give away one of your main players for that type of deal? You simply won't. So in my opinion, if we would actually have to go after one, I would have to say maybe Kovacic could be a realistic option, seeing that he might not be getting much playing time at Madrid this year, and that despite this good relationship that they have between themselves, Milan and Real Madrid, maybe Madrid could actually give in and do this favor for Milan. But once again, it's very unlikely. Is Arbeloa ours? No, he's not. We were actually linked to the player, but at the end, Milan wasn't interested in him anymore. So no, he's not our player. Yes, the Awara could be a good addition if he arrives. What do I think about Galliani? Should he leave with Berlusconi or remain as an advisor for the new owners? Simply, I think that he won't accept the role as an advisor simply because he's been having such an important role at Milan over these years that he won't downgrade to a different role such as an advisor. But if he does remain, it could be good. But at the same time, he's not going to be taking care of the transfer market. As an advisor, I don't see any wrong with that. But at the same time, it's up to him. Does he really want that or not? We're going to have to see. Some more questions before I sign off. Are the rumors of Markovic true, and what do you think about it? I haven't heard anything about Markovic, to be honest, from at least from any reliable sources. Now, I've been keeping updated with different reliable sources such as Sky, Gazeta, and so forth. But about Markovic, I haven't really heard anything about him. My opinion, I think that this won't happen, even if it's true this summer. But who knows if there's actual contacts like you are mentioning. Milan could maybe start negotiations with him, but I don't think he will be coming this summer if he is to arrive. Let's read some more questions for the next 5 minutes or so. Real Madrid said no to letting Kovacic go. Yes, I already know that. I know that Madrid don't want to let him go, especially with this loan plus option to buy. But who knows? Galliani, sometimes he has those convincing methods that could influence Madrid in one way or another. But that is why maybe that is the most realistic option. I don't see Bologna giving away the Awara to Milan like that, even though contacts could intensify. And I simply don't see Paredes leaving Roma for anything like a loan plus option. What do I think about Fernando? He was another player that was linked to us, but I haven't really seen much of him, and I simply think that from what I heard, certain people saying that he's not that great. So yeah, I don't know about him too much, but I don't think he would be a good option for Milan. Now we have some updates regarding Gabriel. There have been some new contacts from Torino regarding Gabriel. They want to sign him, and this story has really been going on for months, pretty much. Because I remember back in June, that that Torino already wanted Gabriel. Now the big thing is if Gabriel leaves, could Diego Lopez actually remain? Because this is the big scenario regarding the goalkeepers. You know, either Gabriel or Diego Lopez have to leave. Both won't want to be backups to Donnarumma. Therefore, I simply don't think that they would accept in staying at Milan. If Gabriel goes to Torino, this could be good for him because he's actually going to be getting playing time. But at the same time, you know, I think Gabriel still has a future ahead of him, so it would be better if we loan him out rather than selling him to Torino. Who will be our most important player this season? That is a very funny and you know, it's a hard question to answer because I think there's a lot of candidates that could do well at Milan this year and be important to the team. My choices are obviously Donnarumma, there's Romagnoli, Bonaventura, Niang, Bacca, Suso. These are all players that could be very, very important and crucial to Milan's season this year. Not to speak about the new additions coming in. Who knows? Maybe Lapadula or Gustavo Gomez could actually be very big revelations to Milan. So we're gonna have to see what happens. I'm gonna read some. I'm gonna be reading some more comments before I leave. Just one or two more. Cheyun says, I was thinking that Milan was doing well until the signing of Sosa for 7.5 million euros. I can tell from Turkey that Besiktas fans are praising the president for selling him for that kind of money. Once again, yeah, 7.5 million euros is kind of a lot for a 31-year-old. But I believe that, you know, Sosa still has experience. He actually used to play for Napoli, not for much, but, you know, back in the days, if he used to play for Bayern, Napoli, there must have been some kind of scene or interest in this player from these teams that are deemed as good teams. So we'll see what happens. I think 7.5 million is a lot. I mean, if you take a look at some signings that we made, like Bonaventura, I think we paid for him around there, if I'm not mistaken. And Kuchka, 3 million, you know. We did good deals there for those players. So we'll see what happens with Jose Sosa as well. Finally, I'll read one more. Davidimi says if Bacca doesn't up his game this season, then he should really leave. He's supposed to be fed balls by Sosa, Niang, and Suso. I've read a comment from Bacca today that I really liked, because he said that Montella likes to play with the ball. He likes to keep possession. So himself, he's expecting to get a lot more chances this season. We all know how last season went. He wasn't being fed. He wasn't being really supported from the midfield, from his cast around him. This time around, with a new game plan, maybe it's going to take a bit more time for him to get used to the system. But I believe that once he does get used to the system, and he could find players like Suso, Niang, or Jose Sosa, or whoever it is, playmakers that could feed him the ball, I think that he could have even a better season. And that is why I'm saying that I could expect him to reach at least 20 goals this season. That is what my my reasoning is behind Carlos Bacca. I think that he has the ability to score 20 goals. Even though he's not the most technical or tactical player out there, last year we've seen 17 goals from him just in the Serie A with little support. So I don't see why he won't be able to surpass that number in this particular season. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. Once again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything going on at AC Milan on a daily basis. For those of you that missed my announcement at the beginning of the video, as you can see, there's a new scarf right up there, the Milan Club Montreal. I'm one of the administrators of this Milan fan club, and if you are in the city in Montreal, we will be having a viewing party on Sunday for the Torino match. So if you want to join us, just contact me on Twitter at Rossoneri TV, or follow at ACM Club MTL on Twitter, and you can find all the details for this viewing party there. On that note, guys, I'll be leaving you with, once again, this video. I'll be trying to do live streams on a daily basis. Sometimes there's not enough news for me to speak about for 25 to 30 minutes, and that is why I'm not making a live stream every day. But I hope you're enjoying them. Let me know in the comment section if you like them or not, and I will continue making them. So once again, thank you for watching. This has been Gio signing off, and as always, Forza Milan.